What is graphic design? Is it making posters for your friend who's in that band down the road? Maybe it's making those little inspirational quotes you see floating around on Instagram. Maybe it's making business cards. Maybe it's doing website stuff. Well, let's get into it. My name is Ian, and you're watching Design. Alright, so what is graphic design? I've pulled some quotes to help ease this process a bit. Design is capturing what is most elusive. And that's very true, because why use a whole paragraph of text when you can just sum it up in one little graphic? Saul Bass, a famous designer from the 60s, in fact, he's considered the father of modern design. He said design is thinking made visual, which is very true. And here's one of my favorite ones. It says, graphic design is huge watercolor numbers on a poster. It is? Yes, it is. How so? Because I just designed it. And that's amazing, because similar to art and to music, there are rules and guidelines, but at the same time, there's no rules and guidelines. So what is graphic design? Well, there's no easy way to answer that question. But let's try and change the question itself from what is graphic design to where is graphic design? And the answer to that is graphic design is everywhere. It's on your shoes, it's on the spine of that book over there, it's on your electrical charger, it's on that car going past. Graphic design is so everywhere. In fact, it's so everywhere that one chap called Cyrus Highsmith, he did an experiment where for 24 hours he was going to avoid one specific font. And right from the beginning he struggles because the washing instructions on his underwear label are written in Helvetica. That's the font he chose to avoid. And then he goes downstairs to have some breakfast, but he can't have his usual cereal because the ingredients on the side of the box are written in Helvetica. And then he struggles to get to work because the subway tickets and the signage outside the subway is written in Helvetica. He barely survives the day, but it's an interesting account. But the point is, Helvetica is just one font out of hundreds of thousands of fonts that are out there, and fonts and typography is just one aspect of several aspects of graphic design, and he still couldn't avoid that. Even if you went into the Sahara Desert, into the most remote place on Earth, you would still see graphic design because it's in your underwear. So another thing is, graphic design is practical. If you took art and communication and you overlapped them, that special overlap is graphic design. If I had to show you this little graphic, immediately you know what it means. There's no language involved. You could speak Russian, Greek, or Japanese, or Liverpudlian. It doesn't matter. You know immediately what this graphic represents. Here's another one. If you're driving along the side of the highway and you see this graphic, there's no language involved here. You know that if you turn down this next turnoff on the left, you will be at the airport. And so graphic design is practical. It's art and communication meeting together. You won't find these pictures hanging up in a fine art gallery because there's no real artistic merit to them. But it's working. It's how it works. And in fact, Steve Jobs said, design is not what it looks like or feels like. Design is how it works. Well done, Uncle Steve. That's exactly what it is. And it's a bonus if the design looks and feels great, yes, and it should, but that's not the main point. The point is how it works. So let's get into what the elements of graphic design are, just to wrap this up. The main elements of graphic design. First one is points and lines. Similar to how our universe is structured on atoms and molecules, points and lines serve as the foundation of graphic design and all graphics. Shapes, something we encounter on a regular basis. Everything is a shape. The screen you're looking at is a shape. The table you're sitting at is a shape. Your head is a certain shape. Shapes even form the letters and numbers that we see. So shapes are very foundational to graphic design. Iconography. our brains see things in different ways. We interpret and perceive information depending on the visual aspect of it. That's very advanced graphic design stuff there, but iconography is important and foundational to graphic design. Color is a massive aspect of graphic design. If you take, for example, McDonald's, KFC, Pizza Hut, Wimpy, all those fast food restaurants use a lot of red in their branding. Why is that? Well, they know that the color red, which we might get into in another video, stimulates appetite. That's a psychological effect red has. And so color has a massive psychology. If you look at the color psychology throughout famous brands and stuff, you'll see there's very specific reasons why they've chosen those colors. So color is a huge part of graphic design. Fonts and typography, very similar to color. There's a big psychological aspect to it. And I like to think fonts are the same as dressing for a special occasion. If you are going to a wedding, you're not going to go wearing a Hawaiian shirt with board shorts and flip-flops. Oh, it depends on the wedding. But it's the same with design. If you have a design that's communicating something, you need a font that matches what you're communicating. Composition, where things are laid out in a particular space in a design, could reinforce a message. It could reveal a hidden message. So the way you align things and balance things out on a space in a design is extremely important. Scale and size, similar to composition, it could define a hierarchy of things. It could rank things. It could balance things. Scale and size can also reveal certain things in a design, and it's very important. Texture, finally, the last one. Some designs don't have texture, like what you see on your screen now. There's zero texture whatsoever, and that's fine. But some designs have a very shiny texture to them. Some designs have a grungy, scratchy texture to them. Some designs have a wood kind of feely texture to it. So texture just enhances the mood and feeling of a design, and it's pretty important too. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. Put your comments down below and hit the like button. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching.